Well, we're joined here with head coach Jerry Glanville for the 2008 recruiting wrap-up. And, Coach, before we get into the actual players and seeing some highlights of them, Coach, if you could, talk about your first year and how the thought processes were going into getting this first recruiting class under the Glanville era.
Well, the biggest problem we had is when we lost 25 seniors. We lost a lot of starters, both offensive line, 3 starters in the defensive line, maybe our 3 best players in the offensive line. So we want to build a program with freshmen. We want freshmen to come in, but you don't want to be waiting for those freshmen to grow up. So kind of unusual, we got 3 junior college defensive line for the people that left and backed them up with 3 high school guys. And offensively, we had a harder time finding junior college offensive linemen. We have 2, maybe we'll end up with 3. Still trying to get the final product there, but came back with 5 solid high school offensive linemen. We lost, our 3 out of our 4 wide receivers, so we did the same thing in each area. We went off and got 3 junior college receivers, came right back in with 4 or 5 freshman receivers. Running back, we got a junior college, big-time fullback, and backed him up with 2 high school. Unlike quarterbacks, we just got a high school because we're young. In fact, we're probably the youngest position. Sophomore is our oldest guy there, so we got 1 single high school freshman at the running back spot. Did not sign any corners because the previous coaching staff brought in 3 good defensive backs. We redshirted all of those people, so we add that to this class, and the class looks different. If we didn't have good redshirt secondary people, we would have went after more there.
Coach, when you start to look at the kids that we've signed, you can really tell that you pounded the pavement here in Oregon, but also branched out all over the nation.
Well, our first rule is kids 6 hours from the campus. And unfortunately, 10 days ago, we were stronger in the 6 hours. And in the Northwest, you're finding out there's a big following and a love for the Pac-10. We have to try to get the people to fall in love with the Big Sky. So the last 10 days, we lost 6-hour kids to Pac-10 schools. Now, we didn't lose them all. And lucky enough, some of our verbal commitments were strong enough to say no to the Pac-10. But we lost 3 or 4 people. We wish we could have had more right from our city. Our goal still is don't let the kids leave the city. But you can't drop what you're looking for to stay in the city. So if you can't get the linebacker you want in this area, which we recruited, we then go off to another state. And I guess all of our linebackers this year, unfortunately for local fans, but fortunately for our football fans, all came from out of state, from Georgia and California.
Yeah, talk about a little bit about that linebacking core, all rated in the top 100.
Kind of a great job by our coaching staff and our present players. Your recruiting class is only as good as your hosts are. And your host is a guy that's on your team that takes this high school kid for the weekend, and there's no coaches around. And that player can ask that player, what about the coaches? What about this? And they have to be your top recruiters. Our coaching staff did a magnificent job finding the talent, but then our hosts have to seal the deal. And so I take my hat off to our current players who allowed us to go out and get, we actually got 4 linebackers, every one of them in the top 100 linebackers in the United States. And that's a credit to a lot of people that did a good job.
Now, how is it for the layperson out there, us people that aren't involved in coaching, that you actually are able to identify the talent?
All talent is checked and double-checked through videotapes, either on the internet or the DVDs are mailed to you, tapes are mailed to you. We never offer a scholarship or go after or go to a home or get in a school with somebody until we see what we like on film. And that comes to you a lot of ways. Some of it is mailed to you voluntarily. Some we go seek out, try to get. Some you find on the internet. Then once we locate who we really want, and that's the assistant coach's jobs, Jim Kraft coordinates that, does a tremendous job. And then once we get the visit, our strength is if we get you to visit and be in this city, we got a shot at getting you.
Thank you. You mentioned a little bit about the mixture between junior college and incoming freshmen out of this recruiting class. Is that a solid philosophy of yours, or do you mix it up year by year based upon your needs?
I would hope that when these freshmen are juniors, that we don't need the junior college player. But today we need the junior college player. Now you never know what happens down the road. People leave, people come. The longer you're in the program, I think the less you need help from the junior college. The fun of our 3 junior college defensive linemen. These are not children. These are men. And we have 3 good freshmen coming behind them. But there's a big difference between a 25-year-old and a 17-year-old. And so our 3 junior college guys are the real deal. But when these freshmen are juniors, I hope we can look around and say we don't need any junior college help.
Excellent. Coach, thanks for joining us
No,
today.
thank you.
Any final thoughts on this year's first recruiting class for Jerry Glanville?
Well, I think we have to thank the city. I think there's people in the city that care about our program. There's places that we go with the prospects that make the prospects realize that there's a huge amount of people, companies, professors that care about Portland State football. And I think the strength, when a kid finally commits, I ask, what turned you? What did you like? And 1 is the assistant coaches. 2 is the city. And 3 jumps right in there. Food is always important. Food is huge. But what jumps in there is our college professors. If you want to major in anything, we'll align a breakfast with a professor in that curriculum who sits down and eats with you and tells you the courses you're going to take. And the players say, that doesn't happen anywhere else. That only happens at Portland State. And we thank the professors for that also.
Well, Coach, thanks again. And now we're going to take a look at next year's Vikings.